Like my grandma, like the stuff I make, she'd be like, "That's really shit." And I'm like, yeah, well, this is what young people like now.
It's the ever moments where you're thinking, I really don't want to do
Yes, yes. Yes.
Did you have a job outside of creating content?
Yeah, I worked at.
Today, we interviewed Tom Ford, a TikTok comedy creator with 2 million followers who switched to mainstream media in 2024. But why? To me, creating is the absolute dream, and I always thought if I hit 10,000 followers, I'd suddenly be all set. So why join a news corporation when it seemed everything was thriving?
When did you realise, okay, maybe there's actually not a long-term play here?
Maybe like the last year. To be honest, I thought it would have already wrapped up by now. Like, and I got underpaid like a mother as well. Oh yeah, it was.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The low barrier to becoming a creator has organically equipped thousands of young people with technical video skills. But not everyone can easily monetize their passion. At the same time, mainstream media needs to reach a younger demographic, something creators can do with ease. So, they're now joining forces.
What was your vision for how you could innovate within mainstream media?
I mean, let's be honest, I don't watch the ABC. My parents watch the ABC. Do you watch the ABC?
No.
No, exactly. If they want a younger audience and they want younger people to start watching the ABC or at least their social media, then why wouldn't, then you may as well go for creators who have a younger audience.
But what does that mean for our current students studying journalism?
Do you think creators are the new video journalists?
Will large followings now be a prerequisite for future jobs in journalism? And does this mean our communications and journalism degrees are losing value?
Why do you think big media corporations need people like you? Okay, Tom Ford. In school, what career were you playing for?
I kind of wanted to be a director at first.
Yeah.
Like, I was definitely interested in, the filmmaking whole side of things. I did all, the creative subjects, drama, art and stuff. And, yeah, I wanted to be either, an actor or, a director, something in, that film industry.
Did you have a job outside of creating content?
Yeah, I worked at Liquorland.
Okay.
And it was really humbling and embarrassing as well.
Did it get recognised by people? Sure.
Yeah, people were coming in and buying alcohol and being like, wait, aren't you? And I was like, oh no, this is so bad.
Don't say it, please.
Yeah. So then I didn't stay there for very long.
Yeah. So at the end of 2023, why did you decide to focus less on TikTok and potentially pursue something beyond the platform?
I honestly know that it's not going to last. I don't know if people like hearing that. But in terms of just making videos at home or wherever, I didn't think it was gonna, it's not gonna last. It's good short term, I'm enjoying it heaps, but you want to kind of segue into something else. So a lot of TikTokers at the moment, they use it as their platform to get people to go to stand-up shows, or they've started stand-up comedy, and that's their marketing platform going, oh, now I've got a show here. So they build an audience there, and they're using it as transport for audiences.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really good.
So when did you realise, on your journey, okay, maybe there's actually not a long-term play here?
Maybe the last year.
Okay.
I'll still keep making them. I still love doing it.
Yeah.
And I'll do it for as long as, to be honest, I thought it would have already wrapped up by now. I honestly
People
thought...
away. People getting over you or what?
Not getting over me, just it's, just someone new.
A new app?
No, not a new app, just a new person that's and yeah, I actually thought it would have been dead by now, but it's still going strong, so I'm I'll keep this up. But if I'm being completely honest, it doesn't take up a huge amount of time in my life. My mates worked full time, and I was just I'd make one video a week, Monday to Friday. That's, it takes you an hour. I was really bored, and I was I think I'm I should be doing something else right now. And I finished uni by then as well. I just got back from traveling, so I was this is the perfect thing to do, to give me time. I meet new people, working for a big organization. I've learned so many skills. This. I feel that was the next step for me to do.
Do you think because you had, 2 million followers on TikTok, that applying for mainstream media, a role there was just absolutely, of course they'll take me?
No, I still skeptical because of the content I made.
Okay.
I thought maybe the sort of creators I were after were food, food people, travel people, very wholesome,
lifestyle,
very mainstream media, PG sort of content. But for like Gen Z and like millennials, like they love the comedy stuff, they love the humor stuff. So that was like, I feel like that was my in. You only needed 10,000 followers like to apply. So
So that you needed 10,000 followers to apply to this job.
that was the advertisement. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and like that's why I didn't think it was guaranteed. I thought I had a good chance though. But no, I didn't think it was guaranteed. And I honestly don't know what I'd be doing right now if it wasn't. If that, like, I'd be,
Yeah.
probably have a napkin on my head right now.
I've been love those videos though.
Yeah.
So, in February 2024, you joined the ABC network. What was your vision for how you could innovate within mainstream media?
I think their primary goal has been, like, the reason why I'm there in the first place is because, I mean, let's be honest, I don't watch the ABC. My parents watch the ABC. Do you watch the ABC?
No.
No, exactly. Like, it's got this stereotype that it's for old people.
Yeah.
Which is, fairly true. So they wanted to bring creators on to then, get a younger audience. Mm-hmm. So that was their ultimate goal. And I think I've been able to do that by just doing the content that maybe they're already doing or I'm already doing it, and then kind of shape it in a way that younger people would like to watch it. Because they've been very ABC's, very traditional and like...
Bit rigid.
Yeah, very, very rigid. They're not commercial at all. So like, you can't bring in brands and all of that stuff, which is just, that's just like who they are. So yeah, I think I kind of just been doing with like what I've already been doing, but just for them, and that's kind of naturally happened.
And what is the ABC Innovation Lab?
The ABC Innovation Lab it's kind of in the name. Like, they're all about coming up with like the strategy of content and the divisions that they want to like go into. It's quite broad. I'm part of the creator program within that. So I just make content, and yeah, it's like they came up with the idea to hire like a few TikTokers. That's like them, like kind of, that's the Innovation Lab. That's them coming up with different ways to sort of get the ABC growing in different audiences and different areas. I do know that strategy is a big thing, and keeping an audience, bringing in new audiences, that's all about the Innovation Lab, and that's at least what I have to do within that.
What's the experience been like at a, extremely efficient, well-oiled machine, massive media corporation?
It's been really, really good. And they've been, like I said before, they've been super nurturing, and they're very like driven to like build my skills, build this, build that. Because I first went in there, I'm also like, quite young compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
But they've just been super chill. Like they're keen for me to learn, and they're keen for me to like build my sort of like social profile, and keen for me to do a whole lot of stuff and just fit me wherever. They're kind of like, working you up. I've learned so much in like the last like 6 months compared to like before.
Yeah. How do you maintain your creative freedom when it's extremely corporate and there are already pre-existing opinions on what the ABC is about? And how do you bring in a new face like yourself with a new, personality and make it feel and fit within the corporate structure?
I got to stay impartial, which is kind of just a guideline. I mean, I guess that can be a bit difficult sometimes. But creative freedom, like that's already kind of been established, and they're really like open to letting that happen. But yeah, that's a hard one to answer. I'm kind of just, doing my thing or doing what I think I'm good at. And if there's an issue, then I'll have to change something or whatever or whatnot. But they've been super chill. But it has been a little bit weird at the start because people are, the ABC's audience is older, right? Older people, I mean...
What's going on?
Older people, like, if I showed like, my grandma, like, the stuff I make, she'd be like, that's really shit. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is what young people like now.
It's crazy. Have you had to battle with that a little bit? Where you... because I can imagine... Sometimes I'm even trying to explain to my parents what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they've already... Media to them is so formal, informative, accurate, and professional. And media right now is heading in this wave, like it's super casual, it can be funny, and it's like it has to fit within the like pop cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah.
How do you explain to people that like this is kind of what is working?
I kind of just say that this is like it's hard, you can't really explain it to them, can you? Like they only know one way or another. But I mean, I guess you can show them like, look, if this has hit like a younger audience and it's it's got some good views, it's got some good retention rate, people like it. They just won't understand. Like they're not used to that.
It's all just
but it was weird at the start. Like, cause I was doing skits. I did a couple of skits with them in like the newsroom, which is super formal.
That
like,
was so funny though.
Yeah, I remember walking into like that room with like the camera guy and going into the news. Like I walked in there and it's like full on. Like they're working away. They're super strict with timing. This that. We're going to air here. We're going to air there. And I'm like, you got 15 minutes. Like getting there and filming. And I'm like,
yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure. And then we obviously that got posted to the ABC. It did well, but there's still a couple of comments being like, wait, is this legit? Like, what's what's going on here? Like, who is this?
I know. I can imagine it feeling so weird because it's so
not ABC.
I know, but it works so well. Like those ones, I was watching heaps recently. The ones where the reporters not responding on time, the delay and everything.
That's right.
Those were massive hits. Did your whoever is higher up and managers, were they really proud of like the work you'd done and that was what they said against to reach that audience?
They thought that was really good, especially when they saw like that's what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to bring in that sort of quirky, younger sort of Gen Z millennial humor, and especially like it showed in the the views and like in the engagement, like how it went. Like they were like, this is like keep it up. Like they were like really stoked with that, which was motivating.
What like particular strategies do you think you've implemented to help the ABC innovate and reach a younger demographic?
I think comedy's been like a big thing.
Okay.
I honestly wouldn't say like naturally or like outside of TikTok or whatever that I'm like naturally a very funny person, but like I wouldn't say that, but like I think
you clearly understand humor and pop culture.
I think my humor comes from like relatability. Like I know I can think of something that everyone has experienced and then I'll just exaggerate the shit out of that. So I think relatability has been a big thing for my content, and that's what I've really tried to bring into the ABC, like them being self-aware and coming up with content that everyone can be like, oh, that's happened to me before. If you can do that, people are going to love your stuff, even if it's not that funny. If they can relate to it, then you know what I mean? Like it hits the mark. So that's been a big thing for me.
And why do you think big media corporations need people like you?
Fuck.
Why do we need you for the job?
Well, who knows if I'm even going to stay there, man. Like, but I think they need create. I think what the ABC is doing at the moment is very smart, because the ABC has, and at the moment still like for like an older demographic. If they want a younger audience and they want younger people to start watching the ABC or at least their social media, then why wouldn't then you may as well go for creators who have a younger audience. Let them make your content. I think what they're doing at the moment is like right, and that's why they need to.
Anyone else following, or do you think this is quite innovation being pioneered by ABC?
I think that's how it started, but I think it's been going really well. Like, I think that's how you're going to get younger demographics. You go to the younger people, and like the ABC, I think initially were like, people that were going on was very standard, like journalism and like, you do your degree, you go in there, you start in news, and now social media's obviously changed that, and they're going to younger people who know like a younger demographic and then bringing them on board, and it has been going really well, I think.
Do you think creators are the new video journalists?
That's a hard one to say now, and a lot of people would think otherwise, but I think there are definitely some creators out there that are very capable of doing journalistic, if that's even a word, like sort of content.
Yeah.
I think there are, obviously there's some that aren't, like, the ones that are dancing on the app, I'm sure they couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of very potential creators out there that can do that sort of stuff, but
Do you quite firmly believe that mainstream media is in a position where they really need to innovate, otherwise they'll lose the audience?
Yes. I don't like, I don't watch TV. I don't know if, do you watch TV?
No, what is
Yeah, I don't really, like, I honestly get...
like 7:30 news? No.
Like streaming platforms, Netflix and stuff, that's huge at the moment. Like if you're gonna watch, like if I'm gonna watch a TV show or whatever, it's on a streaming platform, or just scrolling on my phone, like Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I don't turn on the telly. So I think if they want to innovate, then you gotta go to your social, the people on social media, and that's what they are doing, and they've had to keep up, and it's a very slow process because they're very, they've had to change things. And yeah, I think that's the way to innovate. You got to go to the social media people.
Do you think it's directly translatable, as in you're capturing a younger audience, and now that younger audience is more likely to watch a news report posted by the ABC, which is more in a serious tone? Is that their goal?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's to segue into that's kind of segueing back into the traditional media and how they tell stories, but I think it helps for sure. Yeah, like even in like the news skits and stuff, which isn't really like journalism, it's more of just like a bit of like a comedy thing. When it hits the right audience, like the younger people who maybe follow me or like my stuff, like the comments have been very positive. It's been, people being like, oh, if the ABC does more of this, I'll watch it. And they see that and they go, okay, this is working. So I think people do catch on and they go, oh, like when they can see the ABC's not more traditional, like hard-hitting news stories, and they're more kind of open with like flexibility of like just telling stories in any way, comedy skits.
In touch and it's funny.
100%. Like they're in touch with what's going on, trends, blah, blah, blah. I think people are definitely going to, younger audiences will definitely catch on. And I think that's been working well at the moment. Yeah.
And what more presenting work do you want to dive into?
Yeah, I've been asked that before and it's hard to answer. I'm kind of, like I said before, just going to do as much as I can. I guess just get as much exposure as you can, and then I'll probably have more of an idea then.
Yeah.
In that entire building as well, like I'm like fairly young, like
yeah, yeah, true.
Like
you're 23, 22.
I'm 23 years old, and they're kind of like, oh, it's TikTok. Like, yeah, of course go for it. He'll be alright.
Yeah.
But I remember like walking in there and like on my first day or in my first week, and I'm walking around the building and I can see people walking past me being like, what is this kid like on work, like giving the coffees or like on work experience or something like that? Like people were just looking at me like being like, who the fuck is this? Like,
yeah.
Like, what's he doing in here? And that was a bit humbling at the start, but...
What does a normal week look like for you working for the ABC?
It's usually different every week. If I've got shoots, then, I think it's a lot of editing or going to shoots, but I'll kind of walk into work, get my coffee card stamped. About 9 left, and then I get a free coffee. Yeah, it's a big part of my day.
Good work culture.
Yes. And then, and then just scripting, pitching, and then maybe going out in the field, that sort of stuff. It's very different, diverse.
In a couple of years from now, or 5, maybe 10, what work do you want to be doing?
Shit. Presenting sort of vibes. I'm not sure whether that's for a TV show or maybe, that's a bit of like doco TV, maybe even news related, but not the hard hitting sort of serious stuff. I'm not sure, but that's what I kind of want to be. That's very broad, but people like I look up to people like Tony Armstrong and even like Carl Stefanovic as well. Like he started journalism and like very like reporter vibes, but he's also like a personality now.
Yeah.
Those sort of people and like what they're doing, and they float as well. Hamish and Andy, like they've been so successful,
so many
like
shows.
Ridiculous, and they, now they just float around and like present TV shows, but they started as a comedy duo on radio.
Yeah.
That sort of pathway like really, really interests me.
Do you think creators joining mainstream media will be the new norm?
I think there will be more creators in mainstream media eventually. I'm not sure if all the TV stations, all the classic ones, are like actually that keen open to it yet. But I think it could become the norm, yeah. And it's like really early days now, so it'd be very interesting to see what actually happens. But yeah, I think, and even podcasting as well now, like that's become a thing. Like you can have a successful podcast and you don't have to have it commissioned by a big TV station now.
Yeah.
So I think in the norm and like where people are watching, like, yeah, they'll have to adapt and get creators, yeah.
What advice would you give to creators who are at crossroads, unsure if they should keep going and try build their own personal brand on TikTok or Instagram, or if they should maybe switch it up like you did and join a larger corporation?
I feel like I'm about to get a really cliche answer here, but do what makes sense. I've heard this 1,000 times, but I think just do what you like enjoying, right?
Yeah.
Just find what you're enjoying and do that, because I feel like if you then naturally the sort of opportunities that come your way will come. I wouldn't say maybe like technically go into mainstream media, like don't like that's not like a set thing, like definitely do that. I think that was just what I felt like. That was like, it just felt natural for me to like do that. I did a comms degree. I studied subjects that were like up that alley, and they were wanting TikTokers, so it all just kind of worked out. It seemed like that was me.
If you saw an 18-year-old or 19-year-old kid pick up a camera and try begin building a career as a creator, what would be the first thing that you would tell them?
I'd say like don't try mimic the people you look up to, because then that's already kind of been done. I guess find your niche and what you find funny and what's like not been done before, and go for that. I'd say don't exactly like replicate like what you see, because that's what a lot of people do, and it's it's already been done, and you know what I mean. Like
what's the big harm, do you think, trying to replicate bigger creatives?
I think it's still. I just think I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but
I think you'll always be second to get there if that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, if you're like if you just keep on like I wouldn't say copying. That's not the right word, but if you keep on trying to replicate what that person's doing, then that void's kind of already filled. I'd say find like your niche, and like whether it's putting a napkin on your head, chuck a napkin on your head, but like that sort of. I'd say that sort of thing. But definitely try everything. I'd also say do like as much, do comedy, you want to do travel, do that, you want to do a bit of podcasting, just do all of it, and then once you do all of it, you'll know like this is what I like doing, and now I'm going to stick with this. But try as much as you want, don't just narrow it down as one thing. I'd probably say that.
If you could have gone back to your early days, what more genres of content would you have been, in hindsight, keen to try more of?
I like doing that. I was doing travel YouTube videos like 10 years ago when I was on my family trips.
Yeah.
So
no, in 2013.
Yeah. Yeah, literally you get your sunset time lapse and all that. Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I like doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never thought that like I'd do comedy and the detail, but so that's what it ended up doing.
That worked well for you. Yeah, congrats on all the success, and
thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thanks very much.
Awesome. That's it.